you're saying, what kind of contest? I love contests. Maybe you're saying that. Well, this is a very special contest. It's a contest to come meet me, Brad Bernstein, tell me all your problems, and I spit out a solution for you, or hopefully can, absolutely for free. It's called a free consultation. And what we asked people to do previously was follow Brad Show Live, like one of our posts, which was Schmoozing with Brad, talking about the Australian wildfires, and tag 5 of your friends in that post. I do not know how many people did it. It was not a lot. As of a few days ago, I didn't check recently, but as of a few days ago, it was about 10. I don't know where we are now, but as of 2 or 3 days ago, you had a 10% chance of winning a free consultation. Not a lot of people did it, which is shocking. Or they all waited for the last second. I'm not sure. But for those of you who did enter into the contest in about 45 minutes to an hour, after we take all of our telephone calls, we're going to pull out the Brad Show Live machine. This is the only machine we have in the entire office. 17 people have entered the contest for the free consultation.
Crazy. This is a free gift of gold.
Exactly. And we're going to pull out of our machine lucky winner of the contest for a free consultation with me. I just did a free consultation with somebody today who won last week by phone.
Nice.
They were in another country. They weren't even here in the United States. So we do it in other countries. You could be in other states. Or you could be physically here and come see me, however you want to do it.
I know who I would like to win, but even though I have no say,
you have no say in how it goes, and
but
it's all luck.
I'm not gonna say who it is, but you guys need to go to that actual post and follow what this person, Rookie Glam, did. She didn't only tag her friends, but she did personal messages for each of them, telling them how much you need to follow Brad and how much assistance.
Well, that's amazing. I can't guarantee you that Rookie will win.
We can't.
And by the way, if
She's
she
my
does
favorite
win,
on there,
by the
though.
way, if she does win, they're going to say the fix was it. You realize that, Jonathan?
Well, they'll see us do it right.
But if she does win, I'll give her extra special.
There you go.
Extra special love.
There you go.
All right. So, and then after, if you do want to have a consultation with me, you could always call the number on the bottom. But if you want to enter into it, we're going to run another contest after we pull out of our machine.
Okay.
So keep listening. In the meantime, it says here that the United States is putting asylum seekers, people who come to the United States at the Mexican border, they're not getting an opportunity to apply for asylum because Donald Trump has put in a new executive order that says if your foot touches another country before you reach the border with the United States, you have to apply for asylum in that country first. So all of the people who are migrating from Central America all the way up to the border are now being turned back. And as of last week, 124 people who migrated somewhere from South America or Central America all the way up to the border from Mexico, whether in caravan or by themselves, left everything behind to escape violence. The United States unsuspectingly put them on an airplane, did not tell them where they were going, did not tell them how long of a flight they would have, did not give them any of their belongings or money or anything, and literally flew them to Guatemala, even though they may have absolutely nothing to do with Guatemala, and told them when they got off the plane, you have 72 hours to apply for political asylum in Guatemala or get out of Guatemala.
Right.
This is what we are now doing. Now, those who did not immediately apply, as I said, it says right here in my card, are told they must leave the country in 72 hours. Of the 100, I said it was 124 people. It was 143 people.
Okay.
Mostly people from Honduras and El Salvador. Only 5 actually applied for asylum. The others left the country. I don't know if the others went home, but most likely what happened is they just made a circle right back to the border and they said, I'm not going to be so stupid this time.
Right.
I'm going to now try to cross the border and not apply for asylum and just enter the country without inspection. That's probably my guess of what happened. And this is all under the Asylum Cooperation Agreement between the United States and Guatemala. They say the United States is going to enter into this agreement with El Salvador and Honduras as well. In 2019, just as a little background, Guatemala was the largest source of migrants detained at the U.S. border, a total of 264,000 people.
Where do they go? Where do the people of the others? You said 5 applied. Where does everyone go?
They leave Guatemala and my guess is, I mean, I don't know, I'm not there, but if I leave everything in my country
Right.
to escape violence and come to America, and America flies me back a couple hundred miles south, am I going to go back to my country? Am I going to just
Absolutely not.
march back up to the border, but this time be a little smarter and say, you know what, I'm just going to dig a hole under the fence? I'm going to go to Home Depot and buy a saw for $100.
Right.
Remember we had that story? I'm going to figure out to live in Mexico for a little bit, make some money, and then pay a coyote to bring me across. I am sure there's plenty of smart people who will figure out very smart things, and they're going to outsmart the Department of
Right.
Homeland Security. I think all they're doing is just causing more misery than they are solving a problem. In defense of Donald Trump, what he's trying to do is make somebody's life so miserable by coming to the border that your miserable life in another country is better than the
Right.
misery you would get at the border at the United States. But my guess is that because if you make it across the border, at least in somebody's mind, that life will be much better in the United States,
Right.
and you've got nothing to go back to, you've got no life to go back to, you're going to try again.
Yeah.
That would be my guess.
Nah, it makes
Right.
sense.
Meanwhile, Vladimir Putin, you know that guy? Pizza?
Yes, we
You ever
do.
hear of him?
Oh, yeah.
Who's Vladimir Putin?
It's a big deal.
He's a big
been,
deal?
He's been in, I would say he's been in charge of Russia for basically as long as I can remember now.
I thought you were going to say he's the CEO of Little Caesars.
Little Caesars,
I
yes.
thought that's what you were going to
Yes.
say. No, he's not the CEO of Little Caesars.
I remember first seeing him with no shirt on that horse.
On the horse.
Yeah.
He is not the CEO of Little Caesars. He is the president of Russia. And as the president of Russia, which is not a full democracy really, by any stretch of the imagination, they just changed the constitution. And they said Vladimir Putin, who can't run for president anymore because that's what the Constitution says. It would be simple if they just changed it and just said, okay, you can run again for president. But no, they didn't do it that way because they wanted to make it seem like he's not really the dictator when in
Right.
fact he is.
Right.
So they changed the Constitution. They said, we're going to have, the president's going to be a ceremonial position now. There's no more president. The prime minister of Russia is going to be the guy with all the power. And that's going to be voted on by the parliament. So the entire Russian government resigned, not because they were resigning in protest. They were resigning so Putin can then run for prime minister,
Oh my God.
be
God,
voted
they're
in,
in
serious?
and then
with him.
continue to run Russia.
Oh my
That is
God.
exactly
Been
what's
there since
happening.
what, like 2012?
Forever. It's not
Yeah.
like a-
So it's the continuation of Putin for indefinitely. Now, by taking steps to tighten his grip on power, Putin is sending a message to the world. I'm in charge, man. I'm in charge.
insane.
Right? So we also now know we're going to have an impeachment trial starting next week. We know who the impeachment managers are. For those of you who have been trapped under a rock, perhaps, were without internet service for the last 3 years, perhaps lived that Tom Cruise life on that island when he was talking to the soccer ball. What was that?
No,
What was that
you're
movie?
talking Tom Hanks.
Tom
Tom Hanks. What'd I say?
Castaway. You said
Castaway.
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
Castaway. That's
Yes.
Tom Hanks.
Perhaps Tom Hanks on an island or Tom Cruise in an airplane, whatever.
Okay, yes,
Okay. If you were lost somewhere, there's an impeachment going on, and it's now going to the Senate. The Senate is where the actual trial happens. Nancy Pelosi and the House of Representatives will be voting on sending the articles of impeachment over to the U.S. Senate this evening. They have elected 7 managers. The managers are like the district attorney, the prosecutor.
Okay.
Okay. The judge is the Supreme Court judge, Justice Roberts, and the jury are the 100 senators. We need a 2/3 majority to impeach Donald Trump and kick him out of office. Now the managers, who also known as the prosecutors, are other congressmen. Intelligence Committee Chairman Adam Schiff, Judiciary Committee Chairman Jerry Nadler, Representatives Hakeem Jeffries, Val Demings, Zoe Lofgren, Jason Crow, and Sylvia Garcia. So that's what we are expecting, and we are expecting the impeachment to start on Tuesday.
Oh, wow.
Yes. What else?
The new episode of Days of Our Lives
Yes.
in the United States.
Exactly.
So popular.
So what do you think of this Harry and Meghan thing, guys?
I kind of feel them.
So I've been, okay, at first I was like, oh gosh, she went in there and she kind of messed it up for everybody, for all the black people, you know, out there. But then I was reading a lot, and, you know, racism is really big out there. And it's like, you know, you're a new mother as well. Of course, like, yeah, you're living this whole princess life, but, you know, when you have constantly people are like constantly saying racial slurs to you, and that's your life, it kind of sucks.
It's also one thing to be called a princess, right? Than to, like, what is being a princess?
I get it, okay? But you also had to know, and I agree with you about all the racial things, how they treat William's wife different.
Way different.
Than Meghan.
And they even treat them different.
Correct.
Yeah.
But you have to realize, as a black woman who's breaking barriers, that wouldn't you have to expect some of this to be, you know?
I totally get that.
You understand? Like, I mean, I think of Jackie Robinson. You know who Jackie Robinson was? He was the first black baseball player in the major leagues. He was called Monkey. He was called Gorilla. He had beer cans thrown at him. And you want to know what? He's a national hero now. So at some point, you know, Meghan, to me, and listen, I don't have black skin, so I don't live it.
Right.
Okay, so, you know, it's easy for me to say as a white guy to put myself in her shoes.
Right.
So it's kind of, you know, not legitimate for me to give an opinion on it. But from my perspective, you gotta have expected it. You had to have known that you were going to be under the microscope. Certainly, you're under the microscope as being the wife of Prince Harry, and in addition to be the first black member of the royal family. You had to have known what you were getting into, and then 1 year to say, I'm just walking away from it. And poor Harry.
Right, because
poor Harry. I mean, he's royal. He gave up royalty.
Yeah.
You know, to me, it's like almost like this woman screwing with his head. So in a way, you know what I'm saying?
I will say, I've never really trusted Meghan. It was something about her that I just.
Although I get the racism thing.
Yeah,
I get it.
So that's the only thing. Like, even though I don't trust her, I feel like, you know, she knew exactly what she was doing when she got with a prince, but. There's one thing to expect something and actually live through it. You know, I think just because the UK knew that she expected that she was going to get this type of treatment, so they went above and beyond to go. And like, we don't even know half the stuff that probably is going on.
Yeah, and by the way, I blame the Queen, because where was the royal family sticking up for Meghan? I mean, I'm not saying. I'm not saying that what happened to her was anywhere fair. It was very unfair. But what I'm saying, because the family didn't stick up for her, that's for sure.
I mean, that means that they didn't want her there in the first place.
Well, then they should have spoken up to Harry before they got married and said to Harry, you know what, it's us or her. But that didn't happen. They
probably was scared to lose Harry, because we know Harry is a wild guy.
But that didn't happen. Didn't happen. Now, Truth Serum says she's not the first black in the royal family. I don't know. I'm not an expert in the royal family.
Well, the thing is, even Queen Elizabeth has showed her there's many paintings of like different royal family members, and when she was showing her the painting, she was like, she actually was mixed with black. He was actually mixed with black, and like that's when we all found out like there were actual people that were mixed with black in the royal family. And I do agree with who was it? I just saw Don Harriet saying he's doing everything to please her, and she took the advantage. I believe that.
Wasn't it Queen Elizabeth's dad though who did just this? If it wasn't for him deciding to step away from the royal family, she wouldn't be who she is.
No, it was Queen Elizabeth's uncle.
Uncle, okay.
Yeah. He stepped away, and
a lot of people stepped away over time. But I just think she's kind of screwing with his head. Now, in a statement from Queen Elizabeth, she says, "My family and I are entirely supportive of Harry and Meghan's desire to create a new life as a young family. Although we have preferred them to remain full-time working members of the royal family, we respect and understand their wish to live a more independent life as a family while remaining a valued part of my family. And she continued that it has therefore been agreed that there will be a period of transition in which the Sussexes will spend time in Canada and the United Kingdom. These are complex matters for my family to resolve, and there is some more work to be done, but I've asked for final decision to be reached in the coming days.
They definitely wasn't coming to the United States. That's a damn show.
So, what do you think? You think they'll be back? They'll give it a go for a little bit,
well,
and
this
then
is the thing. I mean,
how are they going to make money?
That's what. So Meghan actually got a Disney deal for doing voiceovers, and it's funny. There's a video with Meghan Markle and Prince Harry meeting Jay-Z and Beyonce that went viral, but nobody really noticed because everybody was looking at Beyonce and Meghan Markle talking, but nobody really noticed that Prince Harry was actually talking to. I believe that's what it said on the video, that it was Disney's like CEO, and he was saying, yeah, Meghan actually does voiceovers, and he was like actually selling his wife. This was like last year.
Really?
Yeah.
So they had this planned, you think, a little bit?
I don't know about that.
Right.
But Prince Harry did get
he got a job offer at Burger King.
Right.
Did you see that?
Yes.
Because I don't know, this guy is qualified to do absolutely nothing. So Burger King in Canada, it's a true story. Burger King offered Prince Harry a job at the home of the Whopper. It said they put out on social media, Burger King, if you're looking for a job, we have a new crowd for you. We have a proposition for you. Do as thousands of people and take your first steps in the world of work with us. You know that the crown will suit you perfectly.
All
right, so you can imagine you live in Toronto or Vancouver or Montreal.
That's ridiculous.
And you just where are you going to be living in Canada? We don't even know what city, right?
I have no idea.
Yeah,
That's where they met.
Is it?
They were on a vacation and they met with friends there. Maybe they have roots
Interesting.
there.
Interesting. And then finally, before we get to our hump day, the Oscars.
Yeah.
Do you have any opinions on this?
Yes.
You do?
Many women and people of color were snubbed.
Yeah. So the front runners for the Oscar nominations was Martin Scorsese's The Irishman, Todd Phillips' The Joker. I hated that movie. Sam Mendes, 1917. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Quentin Tarantino. I was told it wasn't good. I haven't seen it yet.
I loved it.
Bong Joon-ho's Parasite, which everyone says is amazing.
Was great.
All 5 talented male directors. And as far as I am aware, other than Bong Joon-ho, nobody is
of
color. Now, let me tell you who was snubbed. My favorite movie of the year was snubbed. Dolomite Is My Name.
I knew you were going to say
my favorite. I loved it.
Look at him.
I loved it. It was amazing.
Yeah.
I loved it.
It's a great
so
comeback.
he was snubbed. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, me too.
Lupita Nyong'o for her performance in Jordan Peele's horror film Us.
I want you to look at this. She played 2 different roles in this movie.
I didn't realize that.
She played 2 different roles in this movie, and she got snubbed.
Was it scary?
Oh yeah.
It's a thriller. It's not
scary.
really scary. You're probably scared.
I get scared of all of those things.
No, this is a thriller. I would watch it. It's a thriller.
I get scared of those things. Like if people are jumping out at you and
it's a little bit of
that's why I didn't go to the Halloween thing in Pennsylvania. I didn't want anybody jumping out at me.
I love stuff like that.
Yeah,
so it was a great movie.
Yeah. Awkwafina in Crazy Rich Asians.
Yeah,
she was supposed to have won not for Crazy Rich Asians but the Farewell.
Right.
And she won for Farewell in not the Grammys, the Golden Globes.
Golden Globes.
Yeah. So what do you think?
I feel like this is a repeat in history. Like, I feel like it's beating a dead horse. Yeah, we're always going to have this type of situation. I think that they'll have like one random year where they give off just a bunch of awards to people of color and be like, hey, this is your year. Now don't say nothing else for the next 10.
But now I'm going to tell you something. Next year, I guarantee you, there's going to be a lot of people of color. Next year's a big year. Why? Because the internet was going crazy this year.
But the internet goes crazy every year.
It was going especially crazy this year. One tweet said, I don't know what, I guess there's a picture that goes with this. Me showing up at the Academy doors, waiting for an explanation as to why Spirit by Beyonce was snubbed. Is there a picture?
Yes, it's with Jordan Woods at a red table.
But we don't have that.
They have a bunch of tweets and like funny, like real funny gifs and videos.
Well, trust me. Okay, trust me. You would laugh if we actually had it. Okay.
No, this is Meryl Streep screaming.
This is Meryl Streep. I don't even have this tweet. One. That's a different one.
It
Where's
says
the-
ABC realizing
Oh,
they now
okay.
have an
ABC
Oscar
realizing they now have an Oscar broadcast now with no J-Lo, no Beyonce, no Eddie, no host, and hashtag Oscars so white. And that King tweet, number one, Stephen King, he weighed in. He said, for me, the diversity issue, as it applies to individual and actors and directors, did not come up. That said, I would never consider diversity in matters of art, only quality. It seems to me that to do otherwise would be wrong. Wow.
He is a fool.
Wow.
That's conflicting.
How politically incorrect can you be,
Yeah.
and
Well,
insensitive as well?
Exactly.
And let me tell you something, because you can't
He's a
say that
fool
you
for that.
no, because you can't say that no woman or nobody
Right.
of color deserved anything.
Well, a woman and someone of color who is a
deserve nothing,
direct,
deserve
well, who
nothing.
is a director, Ava DuVernay, had
Yeah.
responded to him.
Okay, so what she says? She says when you wake up. She says when you wake up, meditate, stretch, reach for your phone to check on the world, and see a tweet from someone you admire that is so backward and ignorant you want to go back to bed.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's-
exactly.
See, that was a classy read.
Right.
Yeah, yes.
Right. So other tweet says you can't be diverse just to be diverse, wrote one user. And then somebody responded, films created by people of color, irrespective of quality, constantly get overlooked by institutions that are predominantly comprised of white men. Which is true.
Yeah.
Which is true. You see the thing is this. Okay? If you say that based on the percentages, there's a percentage of black directors, a percentage of black performers, okay, that should mirror at least the percentages of our population in general. I would assume it should be, but maybe it doesn't. But certainly the awards should, if it's done fairly, should kind of mimic or certainly reflect what we have here in America. It shouldn't be white.
I agree.
And I'll give you a perfect example of this. Because if you really do it blind, and I'm not patting myself on the back by any stretch of the imagination, we hire here blind.
Right.
Okay? And everybody who comes in is like amazed at my law firm at the diversity that's here. And they're like, how did you do this? And I said, I did it just by hiring the best person. And it just happened that this is what we got.
Yep.
We didn't do it in any other way. And I think if you look at it blindly, you wouldn't have these situations.
Yeah,
That's
agreed.
my opinion.
Agreed.
You're right.
And now King, okay. Now
Responded
King,
back.
He had a final say in this. I don't know what he said. Let's see. He said the most important thing we can do as artists and creative people is make sure everyone has the same fair shot, regardless of sex, color, orientation. Right now, such people are badly underrepresented, and not only in the arts. You can't win awards if you're shut out of the game, he concluded. So I guess he backtracked. Is that a backtrack?
Unless did he not mean
Is that a
the way we
backtrack?
took it at first?
He got a lot of flack for
Yeah.
that. So of course he had to say something like that. But
Yeah. All right. Because other than
Could've
that,
kept
nobody's
that
going to come
tweet.
to his movies.
Yeah.
Right. He'll turn into Woody Allen.
of course people are
Right.
going to go to his movies. We have way more racist people in this world than
They don't care.
yeah.
Well, I'm not going to Stephen King movies anymore.
I ain't either.
You want to know why? For two reasons. One, he's a racist, and two, I don't like scary movies.
Oh
Okay,
gosh.
fair.
See,
All right, and Jilly
you're
says
not
don't
even
call him a
losing out.
racist. All right, he's not a racist, but he's not a
He's
racist.
insensitive to-
Insensitive.
yes, to
Insensitive.
certain racial issues. I would
Yes,
say.
that is a better. I
Yes.
take it back,
As
Stephen.
many are. Yeah.
All right. So with that,
Uh-oh, let him out.
let him out. We have some camels. There we are.
There you go.
It's hump day. We have no
It's
sound. The
hump
camels
day.
are not talking today.
Yeah.
The camels. Oh, they are talking. The camels.
It's hump day.
Oh, they're still out.
All right. Let's see what we got here. So,
It's hump day.
all right, camels. Enough. Camels, get out of here, camels. All right. So, what is this? Billionaire. All right. This is good for all the Brad Squad women out there.
Okay.
Billionaire Yusuke Maezawa. He's looking for a female life partner. He's a billionaire. Okay? Listen closely, ladies. But there's one catch. You got to take a trip with him to the moon. Japanese billionaire Yusuke Maezawa is going to fly on SpaceX's first tourist voyage to the moon. He's going to be the first private passenger to ever go to the moon.
Wow.
And he's looking for someone to share that experience with him, specifically a woman. He's not married. Mizawa tweeted Sunday asking which woman would want to go to the moon with him on the trip slated for 2023. And the reason Mizawa is looking to find his life partner. He says, I'm 44 years old now. As feelings of loneliness and emptiness slowly begin to surge upon me, there's one thing that I could think about, continuing to love only one woman.
That
now,
actually would be an amazing reality show.
Now let me say
Looking for
this.
love.
You know, I don't think he would be. I don't think he's looking for love as much as he's looking for some gold diggers. What do you think of that one?
Okay.
Because anybody who sees this says, you know what? Billionaire looking for love. I'm in love with you. You're a billionaire. I'd love to go on trips all over the world,
But
right?
the caveat is the
Or
moon
outside of the
situation. I think that would be, for all gold diggers, I think that may be a game.
No, just
That's
there's
a
a lot.
game changer,
Yeah,
too.
There's
to
a lot
go
of
to the
there's a lot of
moon?
fearless
You
gold
have-
Wait,
diggers.
and
You
is
have
there
to-
guaranteed comeback? Like,
You're
do we know you
you're
return?
guaranteed to come back. You're
Is there a
guaranteed.
guaranteed land?
You know
Yeah.
what? You know what? You're guaranteed to come back, and you're guaranteed to come back a billionaire. You know, there's a lot of
Okay.
people who would take that risk.
Okay.
You have to
For-
be. You have
I don't
Yeah.
think that's. I don't think that's love. I think he's just asking for somebody to marry him for money. That's to me. You know, that's what it looks like to me. But those who are interested, who do want to fall in love,
I'll let your boy.
Anyone.
okay, they can apply at mz.abima.tv/en.html. And the deadline is this Friday. You got 2 more days if you want to fall in love. All right, now, who's Tyson Fury? Who's Tyson Fury? He's a boxer. Tyson Fury, he's a boxer. This is gross. Do I
Yeah.
even need to know this?
I mean,
Do I even need to know this? Is this too much information?
is this something most
now,
men
now
do?
Julie's whispering in my ear. I find this very interesting. All right. If she finds it interesting, I'll talk about it then. Tyson Fury, he is getting prepared for his rematch with Deontay Wilder in a boxing match, or is this a UFC match? I'm not sure if it's a UFC or a boxing. I don't really follow. It's boxing.
Boxing.
Okay. He says getting ready for his match, he's masturbating 7 times a day, Jonathan.
That is insane.
Yes.
What?
He says if you've seen a single film in the Rocky franchise, then you know that boxers can have some truly bizarre ways of preparing for their opponent. In the 1976 film Rocky Balboa went and beat up some meat
Right.
in a freezer.
true.
But apparently this guy is going into his bed and beating the meat 7 times a day. He has held the WBC heavyweight title since 2015. Now I will say that if he does win, and I were to bump into him, you know, you would say, hey, there he is, the champ, let me give him a high five. I'd be like, I don't know. I don't know, let's watch.
I'm masturbating 7 times a day. 7 times. Keep me testosterone pumping, pump it up, don't you know?
Oh my God. So Fury also said he's uneasy about sparring in fear of opening up the over his right eye, a wound over his right eye that required 47 stitches.
Jeez.
In his first bout in December of 2018, Fury and Wilder finished with a controversial split decision. Do you think, why doesn't he just get a woman or
I
a
have a
man,
question
whatever
for
he's
you
into?
two men.
Right? Why does he need to masturbate?
Aren't there like as athletes, as former athletes or as current athletes, I remember hearing coaches advise players in high school and college, do not do anything sexually oriented the night before a game or a match because that could hinder your.
Well, I guess it's just he's very anxious.
Okay.
All right, and I
says it gets
I
the
can I can
testosterone
tell you
pumping.
I can tell you from a man. There's never been a man who's never masturbated in his life. That would be they'd be a liar. Okay, sometimes it relieves tension. I guess, right?
No, it does.
7
for
times
sure.
a
7
day?
times a day
It's a lot of work.
is a lot of work.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. He might. I don't know how much I believe in it because it looked like he was kind of like joking and being sarcastic.
Now, Yo-Yo, do you do that 7 times a day before you get
Absolutely
live on
not.
Bradshaw Live
Absolutely not.
to relieve some of that tension?
No. No.
Yo-Yo's like, it's only 6 times. I'm going live on Bradshaw
6.5.
Live soon. All right.
hours.
Poor man.
J. Roberts said he's gonna lose.
I'm gonna tell you something.
See?
I mean, talking about you see the you see, you know, all the ads. You know, I'm just thinking like World Wrestling Raw. I'm like, this is really, this is really raw.
Right.
So, meanwhile, the National Health Service has revealed in England that broken penis cases are now at a record high.
Oh my gosh.
It's been a 38% increase in broken penises between 2015 and now. That is right. It's an injury that many men dread, but new statistics have revealed that a record number of men suffered snapped penises this year. Now, there's no penis bone, but it can break if violently twisted. Now, the National Health Services in England explain that there are no bones in the penis, but the tubes that fill with blood during the. Oh God, this hurts me thinking about
and I'm
this.
not. I don't
You
even
don't
have one.
even have a penis,
Oh my God.
Okay. Now, 164 men were treated for. I can't even read what happens.
Oh my
Okay.
God.
All right, 164 men were treated with snap penises last year. About a third of all cases caused during rough sex, especially when the partner was on top, when the woman was on top, and the woman was riding a little too hard, maybe.
Okay.
You know, she was like,
Bouncing.
giddy up, partner.
Okay.
Right? And then he's like, yeah, giddy up. Ah!
That must be like a very.
It said now the breakage usually occurs when a man's penis slips out of his partner and his,
just
and his
slips on.
bends.
Okay.
Yeah, I get
All
it.
right.
I get it. I
I
get
can't
it.
even
got
read
it.
this.
We
I
got
can't even
that.
read this anymore.
It's like over,
We got it.
I'll be on top for the next few months as I think about this.
Very careful upon landing.
Yeah,
Yes.
all right. So now escorts now don't have problems with makeup anymore.
Oh, this is pretty cool.
Yeah. Now, one of the biggest problems that prostitutes have had throughout the history of their careers, I've been told, I don't know if I've been told this, but I've been read about this, or I've been whatever, is that their makeup runs between customer to customer.
Right.
Okay, then when they're done with one customer and they got to get to the next customer, they got to clean their face and then put on a whole new set of makeup.
Okay.
Well, now there's a makeup company that has solved the problem. The prostitute doesn't even have to clean themselves up anymore. They can just go from customer to customer without ever having to clean
And that's
themselves
the
up
creator?
anymore. This
My
is the
God.
creator, yeah.
Sheesh.
It's called Ho Cosmetics. I can't make this
I
up.
like that.
Ho Cosmetics.
H-E-A-U-X. Okay.
And it's makeup of gels, powders, and pastes. And what the company says is that a lot of makeups claim that they're long wearing and you might be able to get through a cocktail with them, but not a hot shower. When someone books an overnight appointment with you, they expect you to still be hot in the morning. That is completely unrealistic. So now the makeup stays on all night. So I guess it's not a situation where they're going from customer to customer. It's more of a situation that after they did the dirty deed, okay, after the woman got on top and said, giddy up, cowboy, and then they went to take a hot shower after and did a little more in the shower, and then they go to sleep
still looking
with
good.
a cake full of makeup all over her.
Still looking
Still
good.
looking fresh in the morning.
Listen, it's a lucrative
That's
business.
better than not being fresh for number two.
But I think the funniest thing is that it's called home makeup.
Yes.
I love how it's spelled. I think it's very clear.
So the person who started this is a prostitute, Lydia Duprat, who got into a new business. She's a very enterprising lady, and she said she once lost out on a fortune when a billionaire showed up at her door, showed her the door, said, "Get out, ho." Because that's what he said.
Okay.
Because of her perfume. He was absolutely beyond wealthy, but he was allergic to the perfume, she says. I forgot, and when I met him, he started wheezing, sneezing, and coughing, and he never called me again. So she came up with this idea of perfume-free, allergic-free makeup that stays on no matter what happens between you and your customer.
I like
Smart
that.
girl.
All right, Sharon Stone is on Bumble.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
was.
Golden Globe winning actress Sharon Stone. By the way, I remember the first time I saw Sharon Stone in that movie Basic Instinct. I was a teenager at the time.
I'm sure you wish she was on
All right,
Bumble at that
I was a
time.
teenager at the time. I will never forget this. And I was in Florida. This is how I remember this. With one of my friends. And then we'll get to stop. I can't even tell her name now. I'm getting all sweaty thinking about it. Sharon Stone on Bumble. And I was in a movie theater in Florida with one of my friends. We went to see Basic Instinct with Michael Douglas. And there's a famous scene where she's being interrogated by Michael Douglas, who's the cop, and she spreads open her legs as she moves her leg from one to the other. And Michael Douglas and whoever the fat guy next to him was like sweating to death. So I'm like, I must be a 16-year-old boy. And I'm sitting next to my friend who's also 16 years old.
Oh, God.
And we're in the movie theater watching this. And after that scene, I remember I turned to my friend. I said, "That's it. I can't watch this movie with you anymore. I cannot sit next to you and watch this movie." And I got up, game over, and I went up and waited outside with some popcorn. But I could not sit next to another 16-year-old boy as I watched that scene. So meanwhile, now, 40 years later and 35 years later, she's on Bumble.
Yeah.
And still hot. Still love her.
So what happened was, is though when people saw her on Bumble, they complained and said somebody's making pretend they're Sharon Stone when they're not. So she was kicked off of Bumble as an imposter. But it turns out it was really her. She went on at Bumble. She tweeted, "I went on at Bumble dating site and they closed my account. They said it couldn't possibly be me." She said, "Hey, at Bumble is being me exclusionary? Don't shut me out of the hive." Can you imagine you like come across Sharon Stone?
That's crazy.
I would have right swiped her, even though she's about 13 or 14 years old.
would've
Of course you would have right swiped
Just to go on a date with her? Why not?
Right.
I will. It doesn't matter. I like older
doesn't
women.
matter.
Yeah. I like younger women. I like older women.
You
You know
love
what?
all women.
I like
perfect,
women.
yeah.
So I would have because that scene is
Always in
White dress, I
always in
remember
my head.
everything
I'll
too.
never
Have you
walked
second
out-
guessed her, like, you wouldn't have second guessed the account and said, "Hey, this is."
I don't know. I would have
It's
had
a
to have seen
catfish?
it. I would have had to have seen it. Maybe I would have thought it was a catfish. Maybe.
Yeah.
All right. Now this. If I don't know. I don't know about this one. Yo-yo. Gwyneth Paltrow.
Oh God.
Okay.
I
You know.
heard
You
it.
know.
Yes.
You know her.
Yes.
She's coming out with a new scented candle. The candle is called "This Smells Like My Vagina." Yes,
Okay.
you can now buy a candle that smells exactly like Gwyneth Paltrow's
her vagina, okay.
You could sit next to your bath, take a nice bubble bath, and have the nice whiffs of Gwyneth Paltrow's vagina
That is wild.
permeate through your entire bathroom.
That is wild.
Now, according to Goop, the idea came straight from Gwyneth Paltrow herself. It all started as a joke between Paltrow and her heretic perfumer, Douglas Little, with whom she frequently collaborates on scents. Now, how did this Douglas Little? How did he? Because he's the one who comes up with the scent.
Right. So did
How
he have to
did he have
smell?
to? Did he have to like? You know, he would have to. She would have had to have been spread open and smelling her
Right.
for days on end until they got the exact smell.
Do you think it's really her?
What is that even? How does she even know what her own vagina
Yes.
smells like so well?
Well, Gwyneth Paltrow is so full of herself that she thinks that her vagina smells better than anybody else's vagina in the entire world, and people would want to smell it no matter where they are. I mean, that's how full of herself she is, right? If you think about it.
I don't see anything wrong
Yes.
with being full of yourself.
Yes.
Though. Self-love.
By the way, Bradshaw Live will be selling our own Bradshaw Live candle. It's called "This Smells Like Yo-Yo's Ass." Anybody
smell good.
anybody who wants to buy "This Smells
No
Like
less
Yo-Yo's
legitimate,
Ass,"
no less
we'll
legitimate,
be
right.
selling it in the Bradshaw Live
It
Instagram
better
account.
sell out.
You're welcome.
Can you imagine how full
No,
of
we're gonna
yourself?
come in- I
Can you
mean-
imagine how full of yourself you are that you think that somebody wants to smell your vagina?
That's crazy.
My vagina.
Yeah.
That's wild.
All right. What else we got? Finally,
Yes.
we got to get to our
Yes, we
immigration
do.
questions. There's a duck, and it's been traumatized after its penis was removed to stop having it from having sex. A UK, of course, this always happens in the UK. Why does the UK have like
very horny
They're
animals.
the horniest animals, the horniest people, the craziest stories come from the UK. Is it me
Right.
or no? So a UK-based duck was forced was forced to have his penis surgically removed after it became infected due to his insatiable sex drive. Dave the duck reportedly engaged in foul play with flocks of lady ducks on a regular basis. Dave's owner, Josh Watson, said his nymphomaniac pet would mate with his friends' companions, Dora, Edith, and Freda, between 5 to 10 times a day.
What?
Now, apparently the duck got the idea after reading that the boxer masturbates 7 times a day. That boxer will also shortly be having his... No, he won't have his penis removed. Unfortunately, the horny duck paid the ultimate price for his sexual activities. His penis was infected with gangrene.
Oh.
Ew.
I wonder if you can get gangrene from masturbating 7 times a day. Is that possible?
If you're
I don't think so.
Is that possible? Julie says no, that's not possible. Thanks for watching. For more Brad Show Live, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.